This is the Appliance Alliance podcast, where we are elevating the appliance industry, one podcast at a time.
Hey guys. Well, week number 2 of pre-recorded. We did this months ago before we switched platforms. The audio, the video, it's all crap. Bear with us. We only have one more that has really good content. So, without further ado, I will jump to myself in the past for this week's episode of the Appliance Alliance podcast.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Appliance Alliance podcast. I am your host with the most equipment, Zach Ryder. And alongside of me, as always, the man with the plan. He really needs no introduction, but you know what? We're going to give him one this week anyway, because we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. TK Cousins.
What's going on, everybody? We are back after a little hiatus. We appreciate everybody's patience with us. I know, it's one of those things where we were just busy. We went to Chicago. We did the Appliance Alliance meetup there and did some sealed system training and some other business training. And really we all came back just fired up to focus on our businesses because, at the end of the day, we love the Appliance Alliance and we love what we do. We focus on the business. But
we learned a lot. We had a lot individually we had to work on. So it's been a busy time since we last recorded.
Yeah, hang on. I'm having a technical issue again. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, cool.
So that time off, we were actually practicing what we preach, right? We were sharing some business information with you guys and some best practices and some things like that. And we all went home and went, well, crap, we should probably implement that in our own businesses, So.
Absolutely. And speaking of business, that's a great interlude into our guest tonight, because one thing following this gentleman that we have on tonight, I've learned about him is that he is absolutely a great businessman. He is an entrepreneur. He owns his own appliance business, but he also has started running his own Appliance Boot Camp that helps people to start their own business and grow their own business and scale their own business in appliance repair. If you've ever been on YouTube and been around the appliance community or Facebook community, you've probably heard of him. This is Mr. Mike Sneed. We'd like to welcome him to the show tonight and just tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind, Mike.
Okay, thanks. Thank you all for having me on. I really appreciate it. Mike Sneed, one of the founders and current owners of Appliance Boot Camp. It's an online and a physical training school where we teach people how to start their own appliance repair business. We've been doing it now almost 2 years. We had over 1,000 students to come through online and in our physical location. And we have hundreds of people who have came in, and over a weekend, we showed them how to start and how to run an appliance repair business.
Very cool. So, what was your inspiration for starting the boot camp? Like, what led? Why did you decide to do that?
I have been trying to get people into the appliance repair business and the skilled trade business, for over 20 years. Ever since I left corporate America, I've been telling everybody about the opportunities within the skilled trade, and specifically with appliance repair, because appliance repair, I always tell people, is the last of the skilled trades that doesn't require a state contractor's license, like HVAC, plumbing, and electrical, but it pays the same amount of money. So I've been trying to tell people this for years, I've been going out to different churches asking if I could teach appliance repair to the men that were unemployed, to the young high school and middle school kids. I've been actually going out. I was paying people to let me teach them appliance repair. So the middle school and high school kids, I would tell the parents, let them work with me during the summertime. At that time, I had electrical contracting company. We were doing a lot of electrical contracting. I was doing a lot of the deliveries and installs for Lowe's and Sears and H Gregg, and I had a lot of trucks, and I needed a lot of workers, and I was trying to get technicians. I was trying to grow my own technicians because you all in the trade, you know, it's hard to get a technician. And during that time, it wasn't any schools. This was before Fred's Appliance. This was before Dryer. Anybody that was putting out technicians, and you had to build your own techs. So I was looking at maybe I could go into the low performing areas and income areas and teach people how to start become appliance repairmen, and eventually that would make them enough money where they could actually get out of the low income areas. But the parents would tell me that the kids didn't have time to actually work. And I was like, what do you mean kids don't have time to work? Well, in order for the kids to play football and basketball in the high schools, like right now, I'm running to the same thing with the ice cream parlor I have. The kids, they from 10 until 6, they have to work out for football. They're doing the workouts and stuff for football. And then once it cools off, they go outside. So from like 6 to 8, they're outside 5 days a week. And then on the weekends, they're doing 7-on-7 drills, or they're playing AAU, or they're playing travel baseball. So the kids now don't have time to work because they want to play sports at the school. So I asked the parents, I said, well, what days do they not have anything to do? They say Sunday afternoons at about 6 o'clock, they're free. So I said, if you bring them to my shop, I would teach them how to repair appliances. And so the parents then say, well, who's gonna pay for the gas money for me to to bring them out? So I have to give the parents the gas money, and then I will pay the kids to actually let me to stay there for an hour or two to teach them. So that's what the whole notion was for me getting into the trying to teach people the appliance repair business, because I knew what it had done for me and my family. Appliance repair had allowed me to live a lifestyle that I could only dream about, and I wanted everybody else to be able to experience that same lifestyle. And so that's why I was trying to get them, because what happened, these same kids, they were basketball all during high school, go to college. They go to college for 2 years. They come back out of college. They $60,000 in student loan debt, and now the parents come to me. Can you give them a job? Well, I can only pay them $10, $12 an hour now. That's not enough to cut into that $60,000 student loan debt. And if you know made a baby, it really is not enough. So then it's too late. So I was trying to get them before they actually got themselves messed up, and was trying to teach them not to if you're not going to school for engineering, medical, or become an accountant, it wasn't going to be worth it. You could go become an appliance repairman, start your own appliance repair business, and you can make $100,000 a year and have a great life. So I was kept telling people that, but I couldn't get them to come into it. And then with Appliance Boot Camp, I found out who my actual targeted audience was. It wasn't the 18 to 25-year-old. I found out 18 to 25, they still think they one rap record away from becoming a rap artist. They're one jump shot away from getting into the NBA. I can that marketing for the NBA for rapping and just hitting it big. I couldn't compete against that. I had to go to the guys who was 35 to 55 who had been out there, and they realized everything they told was a lie, and they didn't know how to get out of the trap they were in. So I started speaking to those guys, and that's where it took off.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I love the one of the I've been following you for a few years now, and
Oh,
one
thanks.
of the things that I love about the Appliance Boot Camp and just everything you're doing is the fact that you have given so many people a chance to become an entrepreneur that maybe didn't think that they were, and really just investing into the low income neighborhoods, because that's something that I'm big on as well. With previous ministries I've been a part of, and even my passion today is veterans and lower income families. That's something I'd love to do with my business. So when I see you so passionate about that, it gets me fired up as well.
Thank you. And it's funny because I stayed on Facebook. I wasn't on YouTube, but I was seeing TK on YouTube. I've been following TK ever since he started putting out those videos. And to be here now talking to you all, and believe it or not, it's amazing to see how it actually how things kind of go all the way around. But yeah, I've been following TK for a while, and like he said, the passion for the low income neighborhoods. Because, like I say, with appliance repair, you all are appliance repair, and you have your own business. It's hard to beat the lifestyle that this appliance repair does. I have yet to find anything that compares. And my friends that are dentists and orthodontists and doctors, they all are envious of appliance repair. They say, hey, you can go buy you a $3,500 van or truck, and you make just as much money as I do. And I got to spend $1 million on a dental practice and got to go to school. And the thing about it now, for the last 15 years, I haven't really been out in the service vehicle. So I've been having actual subs or employees, and but they still had to go put their hand in somebody's mouth every day. I didn't, and they was always envious of that. They said, "Man, you don't have to do anything, and you still make the same amount as we do."
Yep.
So, walk us, if you don't mind, walk us through a little bit of the program. Help people understand like what it's about, what they're going to learn if they come through the program.
Okay. The program is very simple. Like I said, it's consolidated to just a weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to teach you the basics. You're going to learn basic how to read schematics, basic electronics. You're going to learn refrigeration, basic refrigeration. We're going to go over how to disassemble and to troubleshoot and test all the different components in a washer, a dryer, refrigerator, microwave, oven. We also get the online, so it's kind of fast paced for a weekend. But you have the online, so once you leave, you can go back and reference the material. So if you got a refrigerator coming up, you can go look at the refrigeration module before you go out to kind of refresh you. But it's so much information out here now in YouTube on how to fix appliances, and so many people putting out so much great information on the how to repair appliances. That YouTube University covers that really well. What I really emphasize in Appliance Boot Camp is the actual how to run it as a business, not so much to be the technician, but how to run it as a business and get people started in their own business. So we'll teach you how to register your LLC. We'll teach you how to allocate your funds. We teach a 5 banking account method so that you can actually know how to actually separate your money so that you can go out and do like I'm doing, where I pay cash for real estate and start other businesses. I teach them how to do that. Just teaching them my whole blueprint of how I live my life and how I run my business. So I'm teaching them the business side, and it's just really an introduction. Once they get into it, I then tell them they need to get into the trade organizations. They need to join USA, the PSA, whichever one they want to go to. But they need to get into the trade organization and get around and get other peer mentors if they're going to grow their appliance repair business, where they're going to have 7 or 8 different technicians. With that, I'm not the person that they want to follow with that. You want to get in there and maybe get back with the Dean Landers and the Paul McDonalds, those guys, to actually teach you how to take your business to the next level. I'm just the kindergarten, first grade teacher to give them the introduction to get them moving, and then from there they'll find them other mentors, and they go those that want to go deeper into the actual technical part of it. there's so many people who got so many good technical stuff. You got TMM that's doing great with the technical part. You got Master Samurai. You got Dryer. You got Fred's Appliance. They great at building technicians. So those places, I tell them, if you want to get into the technical part, go over there, and they have more stuff on the technical part for you. But as far as the business side, I'm the introduction to get you into the business side, which I think is the hardest part. The technical part for me has always been the easiest. The hardest part for me has always been the business side.
Yeah, that's what I've kind of learned in the past few years. When I first got into appliance repair, I was just all about becoming the greatest technician I could become. And then I really quickly realized, like, hold on, if that's all I'm focused on, I'm gonna be, another one of these technicians, 70 years old, still crouched behind a refrigerator, swapping out compressors or whatever. Not a knock to anybody that does that, but TK'd like to be sitting on a beach somewhere when he's 70. Hell, I'd like to be sitting on a beach somewhere when I'm 50 years old. So, that's one of the things that I really learned when I started following Miss Ward and listening to her, who was one of your graduates. One of my absolute favorite people, by the way. But when I started listening to her and listening to you before that, it really geared me towards being more of an entrepreneur and focusing on growing the business. I probably need to come down there and come through a boot camp course just to get some tips, because I'll be honest, dude, I struggle with it. The business part is the hard part.
Yes, yeah.
That appliance repair is easy, but that business part is so key if your goal is to be a multi-tech organization. It's easy to be a one-man show, but once you start growing and you start adding people, it's a lot of headaches.
Yeah. I'll never forget. Do you all go to Ashley's? Have y'all been to Ashley's before?
I have not.
Okay. If you ever get to Ashley's, I remember maybe 10, 15 years ago, I was at the Ashley's, and I used to go to Ashley's, and I used to go to all, they have the technical side, then they got the business side. I used to go to the technical side all the time, trying to learn how to fix everything. And one time I decided I'm just going to go to the business side, just see what's going on over there. So I was over there in the business side, and I'll never forget, they asked, if you made $50,000 to $100,000, raise your hand. You saw maybe one person raise their hand. Then they said, if you made 100 to 150,000, raise your hand. I was in that part, so I raised my hand with about 4 other people. Now thinking, damn, these guys ain't making no money. they making 150. And so they kept on, and nobody was raising their hand. Then they said they got to $1 million. If you made 1 to 2 million, almost half the room. Then they said 3 million and up, and the other half went up. I was like, what in the hell they doing with over here? They making these millions of dollars. And so for then, I stopped going to the technical part and just started focusing myself on the business part. And from there, I was really lucky that I had a couple of business partners as a couple of mentors. One of the first mentors I had was a guy who owns car dealerships. A guy named Mr. Joel Wiggins. He was the guy who really showed me the first side of business ownership and what entrepreneurship looks like. And then from there, I've had 2 Indian partners, Ron and Abdul. You might hear me talk about them a lot. I got Mr. Speed. I got a bunch of people now who have mentored me and showed me the business side. And even with me, the business side is always still a challenge. Always still a challenge.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But you get out there to the Ashleys. You'll love it, man. You guys
I need
rock
to.
stars out there. I'm serious. Y'all be rock stars out there. I'm serious. Get out there. You'll love it. You'll love it. You will love it.
Yeah, it's kind of on the roadmap. I mean, I bought an existing business, which if I had to do it again, I'd do it very, very differently than I did.
How old was the business when you bought it?
It's so 1977. My business was started. Yeah. So there's good things about that, and then there's bad things about that. The guys came out and they kind of realized like just how much overhead I inherited by buying an existing business. And also by not, my mentor, he was a firefighter, so it was side hustle, right? Like they all had side hustles. And so the way he ran his business and the way he looked at business, while it wasn't wrong, it was just, it worked for him because he had a pension and it didn't matter. So he could he could do things in a certain way that it's my income. I can't do it the same way, but I didn't have anyone to teach me. So it's, it's been 5 years of making mistakes and learning new things. And, that's where the mastermind.
When you bought it, did you get any employees with it?
Yeah. And they're all gone.
So wow. So you're a one-man shop again?
No, there's two of them. There's two.
Okay.
The staff that I have now, I wouldn't trade. I wouldn't let them go anywhere. They're fantastic team, and I really couldn't do it without them. The ones who are gone are.
Yeah, you heard all their problems. Yeah,
it's the best thing that could have happened to me. Save one. There's one.
Let me ask you this, Mike. Do you prefer Mike or Michael?
Mike, Michael, Sneed, whatever.
Okay. I don't know. For some reason, I have a hard time calling someone Michael. I just I refrain to Mike immediately. Let me ask you this, Mike. From your, as a businessman and an entrepreneur, what type of advice do you have for guys like me and Zach, where both of us have one guy that works for us, a secretary, kind of at that point where we're trying to get to that next level? As a businessman, what would you say your best word of advice for someone like us is? Because I know there's a lot of guys very in a similar situation.
The best thing that I've done to really get out that truck, I had to actually go. I had to stop dressing like a technician and stop going there. Because if I went there when they have a problem, I'll fix it, and I just tell them go to the next job. Move on. I take this on. So I had to actually start. For a while, I started wearing like a button-up shirt where they look. When I showed up, it looked like I couldn't get dirty. So they didn't expect me to do anything. But I found out you're gonna have two. You have to have two techs to get you out the truck. One tech is not going to be enough for you to get out the truck. I found out I had to have two to get out. And that was it. And from there, you got to make it work. You can't get in there and actually become a technician. Once you decide that you're going to be the actual owner, you got to be the owner. You can't be the technician. You can't have them calling you every 5 minutes. I just got a new sub that came on with me. And every time he get to somebody's house, he want to call and get the price. We got the blue book on the phone. He can look at the blue book, but still he wants to call me and ask me the price. And I've told him several times, whatever the blue book says, that's what you give them. Because what happened if they calling me every time? No, I got 1,000 people from Appliance Boot Camp calling. I got the ice cream parlor. I got all this other stuff. Now you calling me every stop you get to. It's killing my capacity. And also, it's making the customer think, well, maybe he's charging me too much, or maybe the price shouldn't be there if he got to call every time for the price. And you got to you got to trust your actual subs or technicians, and allow them to make the mistakes. Don't be afraid of mistakes, because the mistakes is going to show you what you need to work on. Whenever something doesn't go right, that shows not so much a problem with your sub or your tech, but more so a problem, a hole in your process. So you want to actually let it break, then you fix it so it won't happen again. Like for instance, we were doing a lot of delivery and installs, and what would happen? We'll go there and they have these copper water lines and stuff, and sometimes the technicians they wouldn't sell the person the new water line. They just connect the copper one. Well, they push it back and next thing you know it's leaking, and 2 weeks later you got to go back. The floor is leaking and warped. So we just got to the point where we say, regardless of what, they gotta buy a new dishwasher kit, or we ain't gonna install it. If they don't want to put a new dishwasher kit, we ain't gonna install it. I had the problems where the homeowner would say after they left, I see a scratch on my floor. Technician say I didn't do it. Now you back and forth. So now you got to figure out a way, how do you handle that? Well, as soon as you get to the customer house, You take a picture of the floor in front of the appliance. You take a picture of the countertop. You take a picture of everything around it, and then you get the homeowner to sign off and saying there wasn't any if this is damage, you notify on this paper, kind of like you go rent a car, saying this is I see this damage here, this damage there. If it's no damage, we sign off, we good. If it's damaged, we sign off notifying that. At the end, when they're done, same thing. They take a picture of everything when it's completed, and they bring the homeowner out there, get them to sign, say there ain't no damage. You all are good. So that way we're covered. I say you signed off, say there wasn't no damage, and I got pictures to prove it's not damaged. And
that's smart, man. That's really smart.
You got to go through those things. Not so much you get mad at the technician or the sub. Say, hey man, why you scratch somebody's floor or this and that? Because sometimes some things like that just happen. There's not much you can do. You make sure everybody got a slide. You make sure that you get a picture of them with the slide there. They're using the slide. Then if you do get a problem like that, because that's the thing too. Once you start hiring a bunch of people, you're gonna have some issues start to come up. Versus if you're a one-man shop, you can really manage your quality and stuff really good starting off. But once you start adding people, I find out I do have a bump in my quality whenever I bring somebody new in. Until they get acclimated to our actual system. But if something like that does happen, you want to make sure that you're not going back and forth on the internet with them, typing back and forth. You want to take it offline as soon as possible. You say, hey, give me a call. You find a way to resolve it. If you got to give them $300, $400, wherever y'all going to resolve it, y'all resolve it that way. Send them a letter saying, hey, I'm taking this amount of money, and we're going to say that it's resolved. If any bad reviews, anything that you put in, you just go remove them. You can't talk bad about us anymore. Just do that type of stuff and they keep it behind the scenes and stuff. So you start to do that. And like I say, when stuff break, you just find a system or something to make it so it don't happen again, or to make so that you can verify that it was good when they got there and verify that it was good when they left. And with all the software they got now, especially like WorkIS and stuff like that, you can attach as many files and pictures as you want, and you can see it and see exactly what they're doing. The shut-off valves, same thing. Take a picture of the shut-off valve and make sure that it's not dripping water when you leave. Take a picture up under the dishwasher and make sure it's not dripping water at the water inlet valve. All that type of stuff.
Yeah,
definitely improving process like that. That's your biggest advice. And I think that's something that we all kind of learn. We get smacked in the face with process.
Yeah.
It's usually realizing how much process you don't have.
Right.
Realizing that you're just, for me, it was realizing that I just basically been winging it for 4 years. And then when I train somebody, like, all right, I can't wing it anymore. I got to get my ducks in a row here. But not to switch gears too much, because I think the Appliance Boot Camp, I've gotten tons of friends from that community. Just awesome people. Like some of the guys I actually have guys here locally. One of our Appliance Alliance not board member, but one of the members of the leadership at the Appliance Alliance is EJ, and he's done some of the online stuff. And I would like to get your take, because I discussed this on Facebook. I would like to get your take on the approach, because we disagree on this, and that's perfectly fine. And I always like to hear everybody's viewpoint so that I can learn more. And what we basically disagreed on was basically the approach of training these guys so rapidly and basically letting them learn in the customer's house. So me and you, everybody in here knows that in 3 days, you're not a master technician. And you're not going to be a master technician for a long time. And my personal point of view on it is that the best way to train somebody is to have them ride with someone and actually be hands-on in the field for anywhere from 3 to 8 months, depending on the individual. So I would like to get your feedback and your viewpoint on that, because I know it's something we disagreed about, and like I said, that's perfectly fine. Just about how these guys go through the boot camp and then sign up with the warranty companies and are basically learning in the customer's house.
Okay. Yeah. How did you get started? You get started? How do you get started in the appliance repair field?
I did an apprenticeship. My best friend owns Richmond Appliance here in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
And I was basically selling used appliances. I didn't know much. I was just kind of learning as I go. I'd Google stuff, I'd YouTube stuff. He started coming by and helping me every once in a while. And once he kind of saw that I had a knack for it, he offered me an apprenticeship, and I rode with him for a little less than a year. And then after that, I started running calls for him for a little bit. And then after that, he actually helped me start my business. And he's now he's a partner in my second business.
Okay. How about you, Zach? How did you get in?
I was brought in by the previous owner of the company. I'm actually a licensed airframe power plant mechanic.
Okay. Did you ride with anybody? Did they showed you how it worked and then they throw you to the wolves?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. When I first got the Sears, then they had pagers. So they showed me how the pager worked one day and how to fill out the invoices the next day. The next day I had a service van and I was out there fixing stuff. And that's the way majority of us actually learned, whether it was right or wrong. But that's how majority of the people learned. There was no training program to put you in, and it was so much work to be done. Nobody had time to really to actually teach you. And so you went out there and you learned. Now the reason why I allowed them to go out with the third party warranty company, the third party warranty company supplies them with the parts, so they can go out there. If they misdiagnose something, it's not going to hurt the customer because the customer only pays one fee. And it's not going to hurt the technician either because he can call the third-party warranty company, tell them send me another part. So he can go out there with the comfort level of knowing that regardless of what, the customer appliance is going to get repaired. Now it might take him 2 or 3 trips out there, but it's going to get repaired, and it's not going to cost the customer any more money, and it's not going to cost that business owner any more money. And because he's doing it at a discounted rate versus a COD rate, it's a win-win for both. So he's able to learn the trade, get the confidence and stuff he needs to actually go out there and interact with the customer, take the appliances apart, learning how to actually research, the appliance, how to do his pregame. And so with doing all of that, he's now learning how to actually run his business. The technician that I was just talking about, the sub that just came on with me, he's one of the guys that he's coming over from working with a company where he actually rode with somebody. He rode with somebody for like 3 or 4 months, and he still ain't got the confidence to go out there and do it on his own because he's looking for he's too afraid he's going to make a mistake. He's looking for somebody to tell him what to do. No, if he goes there and the drain pump isn't draining, he'll call me. I got a question. What? I'm here at the drain pump. It's getting 120 volts, but it's not turning on. Well, it's got 120 volts. It's not turning on. It's a bad drain pump. I need to order her drain pump. Yeah. But that comes from riding with somebody and not being able to make that decision to go ahead.
I would say that comes from piss poor training. If you rode with me, if you rode with me for 3 months and you didn't know that, you're not going in a van. You're going back to McDonald's or wherever you came from.
Well, and I'm gonna disagree with that, TK. That's one spot where you and I actually disagree on that because, I mean, everyone's different, right? The way that I take stuff apart, my mind works differently than other people, right? I look at an appliance and I see the seams. I see how it comes apart, and I see, like in my mind, I can see all those intricacies. Not everyone sees that, right? Some people,
Yeah, but if you got a drain pump that's got 120 volts, it isn't draining, and you've been riding for 3 months. Come on, man. What do you disagree with?
But
Okay,
how many drain pumps have you seen? How many drain pumps have you seen? You know what I mean? Like, so I think back to my first 6 months of training with my mentor. I think I might have saw 2 electric drain pumps in the entire time that I was out there in the first 6 months of time.
Yeah,
right?
let me
did such a broad spectrum of things.
Let me clarify with him. What happened? Probably a month ago, he done a front load wash machine. You know the women with the sport bras. They have these little cups they can slide in and out.
Mm-hmm.
But one of those little cups came out and slid between the tub, the inner tub, and the outer tub. And so that drain pump, he was getting 120 volts. And I told him, he said he ordered a drain pump, and it won't drain the water. But what happened, that little cup had came and covered up the drain hole in the front load wash machine. So now he's afraid because he ordered that drain pump, went back to the customer house, it didn't work. He's afraid now that he's making a mistake. No, you're not making a mistake. You need to now make sure that when you disconnect the drain line, that you get some water coming out. If you don't get no water coming out, then you know that you got something blocking the water too. You need to go address why there's no water running out. But
that's diving deeper as a technician. And that's having a confidence knock.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I guess that can be a little bit of a training thing, but it's more of that technician needed his confidence.
There you go.
When he was training and he wasn't built up. He worked for a boss previously that tore him down every single step of the way.
Right. And if he ordered that drain pump and didn't work, he got an answer to that. So if he went to a customer house and he gave a price and the customer didn't get it, then the boss will call back and adjust the price so he can get it. So all that stuff you have to retrain him, let him know, hey, this is the way we do it. This is the way I want you to do it, and this is our policies and procedures. Now, the same thing, like you were saying, the way you diagnose, I love watching you all, people like Mike Check and all them go, and they show as they go and how they diagnose problems. Because we all diagnose them different. You find your style of doing it. And so I like to see that way. So if I was to go there and actually tell everybody to diagnose exactly like how I do it, I'll find out that my way might not be the best way. Because one of my subs, Slick, had told me this. And I use it. I do this all the time now. If he changes out a compressor, what I normally do, I normally heat up the lines and pull them out the compressor. And he said, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "So I can get the compressor out." When you're throwing it away anyway, just take your side cutters and cut the lines off the compressor and get that out the way. Then you got more room to heat it up and pull it off. And I'm doing that now. But if I had told them all to do it my way, I wouldn't learn the quick ways that they have done it from working.
That's a good point.
Auto mechanics and stuff. Yeah,
I did the same thing when I started getting really involved in the apprentice group, which is now the group. I would post different. I would just take a video. I'll give you a perfect example because I'll never forget this. I had this little bucket, this little ice bucket that I used to carry with me that comes in the Whirlpool kits. And every job I go on, this ice bucket goes with me. I love that thing. And I was draining the washer from underneath into that bucket and then sucking the water out as it went into the bucket. And I just did it to show guys. And then somebody got on there and was like, well, it's a whole lot easier to suck it through the drain pipe out in the back next to the exhaust. I've been doing this for 5 years the hard way. Yeah. And then ever since then, as long as it's not blocked up, I just real quickly. But it's like you said, just because you do something a certain way doesn't mean it's the right way. It doesn't mean that there's not an easier way. So that's why I like getting other people's viewpoints on anything. One thing that I would love to see, Mike, and I'm just going to throw this out here. We can edit it out if it's not acceptable.
No, go ahead.
I would love to see a future partnership between us where when guys are done with the boot camp, we have something set up in the alliance to network with people across the country to set these guys up with ride-alongs, because they could be running 2 or 3 days a week on their own warranty calls and doing maybe 2 or 3 days a week with an experienced technician for those that need that, because I know there's people like Miss Ward and Greg and there's too many. I shouldn't start naming names. There's just too many people
I can't do it too many.
that are naturals at this, and they're doing great. But I feel like it would be awesome if we could find a way to network together, and when these guys are done with the boot camp, they network with us, and we offer a ride along thing where we have the network, we have the people, technicians all over the country that are looking for people to help out. And then, they meet a local company, they network with that company, they do some ride alongs, and then everybody wins.
Yeah. I don't have a problem if anybody wants to do that. But sometimes I don't want them to get into what they call, I call it now the Kwame Brown syndrome. No, Kwame comes straight out of high school, go to the NBA, then Jordan beats him up because he doesn't think he's the pro. I have many of people, O'Shea Bean comes to mind right off the top of my head. This is a guy comes straight out of high school. He's like 18 years old. He don't know where a screwdriver is, don't know where a pair of pliers is. And he come to Appliance Boot Camp. His hands are like paper. I mean, he bleeding like a stuck hog. I'm putting Band-Aids on him and stuff. And I honestly thought this guy not going to make it because he was one of the first guys that came. I realized didn't know what had never worked with hand tools before. He didn't know how to use a socket or a wrench. But if he would have left and went out and rode with somebody would beat him up. So, man, this guy don't know anything. This guy don't know how to use a screwdriver. He don't know how to use a hammer. He's bleeding everywhere. But now this guy right here has become a great technician and a great entrepreneur business owner where he calls in from time to time and he moved out, got him a new car. No, he's like 19, 20 years old. Say his parents don't have to pay for anything for him, and he's changing tub bearings and stuff now and front load washers, and he's became a great technician, and he does strictly CODs now. So with that, I wouldn't want nobody to get beat up, and that's one of the reasons why I like for them to go there to the third party warranty company, because then they can work at their own pace. They if they take them 3 hours to do it, that's fine. It's still more money than they're gonna make going to deliver pizza and stuff. And eventually they'll get their confidence up and they'll learn the trade, and eventually they'll catch on to go.
Right. Well, and I think what he's saying, and we'll go ahead and wrap up since we lost him. We see it a lot in the Alliance group. We see a lot of these guys going, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? And so we know that there is a certain level of them that are, as you were describing, like they just need that confidence boost to go out. And we know that there are guys out there that they benefit from a ride along. They benefit from seeing not necessarily like my way is the best way, but here's another perspective. Here's another way to do that as far as the technical end of things goes. And I think that's what he's trying to offer up. But Michael, it's been a great conversation, and hopefully we can have you on again.
I love
it was
to come
a
on
good time.
again.
Yeah.
Same thing. And I'd love to get y'all on to the Appliance Boot Camp too. If y'all like to come in. And we do a show. I do a show every Monday and Thursday. I love to get y'all on there.
For sure. We'll have to set that up. So, hey guys, we thank you for tuning in. This has been the Appliance Alliance podcast, and we are signing off.